What's up, cool people? Welcome to today's live stream. Hope you're all doing well today. My name's Matt, aka That Random Christian Gamer. And today, we've got our usual Bible study lined up, continuing our journey cover to cover, air quote, digitally, cover to cover, I guess you could say, through the Bible. We'll be in 1 Chronicles chapters 17 and 18 today. And after that, we have a channel premiere, you could say, where I will be playing Slay the Spire for the first time. I've heard it's sort of a roguelike type thing, also a bit of like kind of luck and deck stuff involved to an extent. I don't know. We'll have to see what all exactly it's like. But I had a friend of the channel recommend it to me, so we'll see how it goes. Poetically Christian, good morning. Hope you are doing well today. So, yeah, I don't really have anything else. For those of you who missed yesterday's announcements, I will just say real quick, as far as the video games that I'll be playing in my Saturday streams, for the foreseeable future, until Kingdom Hearts 4 releases, I'll be alternating back and forth each week which game that I play on the Saturday streams. So it'll be keeping things a little fresher, a little more random, like the channel name implies. For now, this week's gonna be Slay the Spire. Next week, I'm planning to play Kingdom Hearts 3. Since it's a revisit of that game, I'm not gonna focus as much on it as I have been the previous Kingdom Hearts games. But people still wanted me to play through the story again, see what all I know better now than I did the first time. And so I'll be doing it that way. Alright, that's all I got intro and announcement wise. Let me go ahead and run the early Twitch ads, and then we'll hop into some Bible study. And of course, there's always a couple of seconds in between when I click it and when they actually start. Alrighty. Doop-doo. Getting the Bible study ready to go, and multi-chat is working properly today. Yay! Which is great. It's if I had to choose between which day to have it work and which one to not have it work, I'd rather have it work on Saturdays and not as well on Fridays. For context, it was not working right yesterday. It was only showing the YouTube chat, not YouTube and Twitch. So it's definitely showing Twitch now. I have yet to see it not show what's in the YouTube chat. It's just sometimes YouTube doesn't have anybody hopping in the chat, like Twitch pretty much always does for my streams. But yeah. Meanwhile, the apartment search continues. I got an email yesterday trying to confirm a apartment visit tour thing, and they apparently thought I was supposed to go in yesterday for the tour. Meanwhile, my initial attempt to schedule it and what I thought we had agreed upon was that I would tour it next Friday. So there was a bit of a mix-up on somebody's part there. I'm not 100% sure if it was theirs or mine. I think it was theirs, though. Because I had, put it into my phone calendar and whatnot. Anyway, okay. Ad break is done. I can hop into the Bible study now. So, yep, here we go. Okay, so we got First Chronicles chapter 17, and let's see here. Context really is just that, well, first of all, the book of First Chronicles and Second Chronicles after it, it's, if my understanding is right, written by a man named Ezra, who is essentially wanting to communicate with fellow Israelite exiles how they even got into this mess and what they should do moving forward to try and, get back in God's graces and, get back to actually having their own nation and land and all that kind of stuff. So it's been looking at King David lately, and really, even though it's been kind of revisiting all of that stuff, there's within basically every chapter, there's been some little thing you could look to and be like, aha, this is really important to God, because either something went really well or something didn't go so well, and it highlights the significance of a particular thing in God's eyes. Either way, whether good or bad end result, it stresses the importance of following God's commands and seeking Him and worshiping Him, and basically all the stuff that they got away from before they were exiled from their homeland. So, we'll keep rolling with that idea, I suppose, probably here in 1 Chronicles 17. Here we go. When David was settled... if I can read right. When David was settled in his palace, he summoned Nathan the prophet. "Look," David said, "I am living in a beautiful cedar palace, but the Ark of the Lord's covenant is out there under a tent." Nathan replied to David, "Do whatever you have in mind, for God is with you." But that same night, God said to Nathan, "Go and tell my servant David, this is what the Lord has declared. You were not the one to build a house for me to live in. I have never lived in a house from the day I brought the Israelites out of Egypt until this very day. My home has always been a tent, moving from one place to another in a tabernacle. Yet no matter where I have gone with the Israelites, I have never once complained to Israel's leaders, the shepherds of my people. I have never asked them, 'Why haven't you built me a beautiful cedar house?' Now go and say to my servant David, 'This is what the Lord of Heaven's armies has declared. I took you from tending sheep in the pasture and selected you to be the leader of my people Israel. I have been with you wherever you have gone, and I have destroyed all your enemies before your eyes. Now I will make your name as famous as anyone who has ever lived on the earth. And I will provide a homeland for my people Israel, planting them in a secure place where they will never be disturbed. Evil nations won't oppress them as they've done in the past, starting from the time I appointed judges to rule my people Israel, and I will defeat all your enemies. Furthermore, I declare that the Lord will build a house for you, a dynasty of kings. For when you die and join your ancestors, I will raise up one of your descendants, one of your sons, and I will make his kingdom strong. He is the one who will build a house, a temple for me, and I will secure his throne forever. I will be his father, and he will be my son. I will never take my favor from him as I will never take my favor from him as I took it from the one who ruled before you. I will confirm him as king over my house and my kingdom for all time, and his throne will be secure forever." Okay, I was just trying to get that entire word from God to Nathan before I took a step back and added any thoughts to it. So, now David had, at this point at least, managed to move the Ark of the Covenant from just like a random remote place within Israel to the capital city of Jerusalem, which was very well fortified and easily defensible, much more so than the random place on the outskirts. So, he had gotten into a safer place, but it was just kind of in a tent. He had made a tent for it because it had been in a tent before, but really, at the start of this, David's all like, I have this beautiful place that I'm living in. Shouldn't, the Ark of the Lord get a big, beautiful, trying to think of the word, but anyway, just this equally, if not more glorious looking place, because the Lord is more important than I am. That's David's heart. He wants to emphasize the glory of the Lord over, his own glory. But long story short, God tells Nathan that, he tells Nathan to tell David, I appreciate the idea, but no thanks. You are not going to be the one to do it. It will happen. Don't worry about that. In fact, one of your sons will be the one to build this temple for me, but not you. And it was definitely said previously back in, I guess it was maybe like 1st or 2nd Samuel, that he didn't want David to be the one to do it because of how much blood he already had on his hands. Not that David was fighting for bad reasons per se, but just because of that, just because of the proximity to all that violence, because of all the time spent shedding blood, and really maybe just like the general lack of innocence in that way, and purity tied to that. That's probably the main sticking point, because of the lack of purity due to all that. God's like, no, yeah, you're not the one. I'm going to have somebody else build it later. But meanwhile, in the midst of all this, he's reassuring David that, like, okay, you're not going to build this temple for me, but you are essentially going to have this amazing dynasty that will carry on. I mean, when talking about, David's son who would rule after him, it says that, quote, his throne will be secure forever. Now, that would be an interesting thing, almost a confusing thing, I would think, to point out to the Israelite exiles, who probably see that it's physically not there anymore. Like, there's no throne, there's no palace, there's no king of theirs that is ruling. So, what do you mean his throne will be secure forever? And I'm not going to get ahead of myself on that yet, because there's more of the chapter to read through that might say more about that. I do know, at least as of this point, that, like, the lineage is still there. So, that's, even if the physical throne is no longer occupied, there's still, at least in existence, someone of the royal bloodline continuing on. Certainly as of this writing. Okay, note right here. Hebrew says a house of cedar rather than a cedar palace, but it's the king's residence. It's kind of assumed it's a palace, even though the Hebrew just says house. And there's all sorts of details, although I think the really lavish, that might have been the word I was looking for earlier, the like really lavish palace, I'm not sure that was built until Solomon's time after David. But anyway, okay. Oh. I sort of left verse 15 there. But I don't think I read that yet, so I'll pick it up there and then just continue on to the next section. So Nathan went back to David and told him everything the Lord had said in this vision. Then King David went in and sat before the Lord and prayed. Who am I, O Lord God, and what is my family that you have brought me this far? And now, O God, in addition to everything else, you speak of giving your servant a lasting dynasty. You speak as though I were someone very great, O Lord God. What more can I say to you about the way you have honored me? You know what your servant is really like. For the sake of your servant, O Lord, and according to your will, you have done all these great things and have made them known. O Lord, there is no one like you. We have never even heard of another God like you. What other nation on earth is like your people Israel? What other nation, O God, have you redeemed from slavery to be your own people? You made a great name for yourself when you redeemed your people from Egypt. You performed awesome miracles and drove out the nations that stood in their way. You chose Israel to be your very own people forever, and you, O Lord, became their God. And now, O Lord, I am your servant. Do as you have promised concerning me and my family. May it be a promise that will last forever. And may your name be established and honored forever, so that everyone will say, the Lord of heaven's armies, the God of Israel, is Israel's God. And may the house of your servant David continue before you forever. Oh my God, I have been bold enough to pray to you because you have revealed to your servant that you will build a house for him, a dynasty of kings. For you are God, O Lord, and you have promised these good things to your servant. And now it has pleased you to bless the house of your servant, so that it will continue forever before you. For when you grant a blessing, O Lord, it is an eternal blessing. Okay, and that's actually the end of the chapter. I kept things much more together in the reading because it was like not wanting to, break in the middle of what people were saying. So David basically comes back to God, and first off, it's almost as a direct response to, the part where God's all like, I took you from tending sheep in the pasture and selected you to be leader, and, all that. Those reminders from God of what he has done for David, how he has, helped David attain his position, get all this fame, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, and all this praise from the people. David almost as a direct response to that is like, yeah, you're right, you've done so much for me. How am I even worthy of all this? In previous books, when it was, in fact, like really early on in David's kind of transitional period between being anointed and being like fully established as king, especially when he was helping King Saul, he really had a habit of being like, oh, thank you so much. Who am I? I don't deserve this. Almost like he had, I don't want to say confidence issues per se, but like he almost had a negative view of himself. So, could be a little bit of that coming out, but it's also like very, very humble how David is coming to God with all this. Because he knows where he came from, just a lowly shepherd. Okay, note from chat. As a captive, when all you saw around you was captivity, can you imagine reading about the stories of power about David, about your people being strong? Must have been like superheroes for us today and those as exile. For us today and those exiles. Yeah, I could imagine, like, yeah. So the exiles reading this, while it might have at one point made them wonder and scratch their heads a little bit about, what do you mean being secure forever? At the same time, they see, you know, how prosperous and, you know, successful that their people were when they had, you know, strong ties to the Lord, a strong devotion to the Lord. Now, of course, you know, establishing all of this sets the stage for probably later on in the recap, we'll call it, that'll show them, okay, yeah, it was great like this for a while when we were devoted to God, but then we did this. We fell away from God. We stopped worshiping him. And that's where things went wrong. And there's been hints at that already throughout First Chronicles, especially when it was talking about Saul and why he was unseated. But, yeah. And I guess now, even in reading and hearing this, the exiles would have seen, you know, or noticed, I should say, that, you know, David's heart was humble. He was all about, you know, worshiping God and giving God the glory because of his humble beginnings. And that, again, that really, I would think, should have been the point of emphasis to them, is the connection to God. Yes, things were good, but it was because of that connection. And, you know, David goes on speaking about what God's done for him, praising him for all of that, and thanking him for just the great honor of promising this dynasty. Because if God was going to promise him a dynasty, that means God viewed him very highly. There are other places in the Bible where it describes David as a man after God's own heart. And it's because of this general kind of attitude. Poetically Christian says, and it showed them that David put the Lord first. He was concerned with housing the tabernacle and paying God the proper tribute. Yeah, again, the reason for him wanting to build a house / temple for the Ark of the Covenant was to give God the glory. It you know, seemed odd to him that he would have this, you know, lavish, glorious palace. Meanwhile, the Ark of the Covenant, really the primary symbol of their connection to God, who was really the most important facet of everything they had. That was just in a tent. Like, no. Give God the big, lavish, glorious building. Put me in a tent if you gotta, but, like, I should not be giving the... I should not look like I am more important than God here. That's David's thinking in all this. Okay, there's a note here in verse 17. It just says the meaning of the Hebrew is uncertain. I guess in reference to being someone very great. But, I would figure in context that's the general idea that he's going for anyway. It's like, who am I? So, yeah. That is all I've got in mind relative to this chapter. Yep, so I guess that'll do it for First Chronicles chapter 17. Well, when you had tabernacle there, I thought you just meant, in reference to just having some proper place for the ark to reside in. So I kind of got what you meant, even though you didn't word it the way you intended. Okay, let me get a sip of water here. Okay, on to the next chapter. Here we go. All right, First Chronicles chapter 18 is what we got next. So the past few chapters have been focused on David, and really, pretty much every chapter has in some way or another emphasized David's connection with God, his emphasis on giving God glory, whether through worship, through his own praise, through, just reminding the people of what God has done for them, and even through looking back on his own standing and his own, position, how he started compared to while he was king, and just how much God has been an integral and crucial part of that. So with the point of First and Second Chronicles being, reminding the Jewish exiles of what got them into that situation, and, how they can make it better, it's only fair and proper to spend all this time emphasizing David and how much that he did it right by putting the emphasis and the focus always on God. Especially compared with the time that it spent talking about King Saul and the reason that he died and was replaced by David as king. I think Chronicles can be summed up by the old expression, fall from grace, and that's what they're learning by hearing it. Yeah, right now we're on the grace part of it, but when they turn away from God, they understandably also fall away from that grace that God has given them. But the recap isn't there yet. We're still on the matter of David, and I guess there had been some chapters talking about all these, mighty warriors that were part of his army and all that. And I guess now we're going to read about some of the things that they did through all that military might. So here we go. 1 Chronicles chapter 18. After this, this being, I guess, in relation to the prior chapter where God made a promise with David that there would be that there would be a dynasty after him, that like his son would rule and build a temple for worshiping the Lord, and there would be multiple generations after that God would firmly establish as, his kingdom, his people. So after this, David defeated and subdued the Philistines by conquering Gath and its surrounding towns. David also conquered the land of Moab, and the Moabites who were spared became David's subjects and paid him tribute money. David also destroyed the forces of Hadadezer, king of Zobah, as far as Hamath, when Hadadezer marched out to strengthen his control along the Euphrates River. David captured 1,000 chariots, 7,000 charioteers, and 20,000 foot soldiers. He crippled all the chariot horses except enough for 100 chariots. Alright, this is all just one giant section, so... And nobody's speaking here, so I'm... Not as opposed to breaking in here and there. So... It had talked a bit before about some of the warriors in David's army and, like, just how proficient they were in combat. And now we're even adding to that this stuff about additional soldiers, other equipment, and, of course, that stemming from different victories that they had. And this, all of these military victories end up being sort of the setup then for a time of peace after his rule when Solomon is king, who then, has all this, has this peaceful enough situation to focus on and dedicate all the time and effort needed for building the temple and also the king's palace, but definitely more importantly the temple that was just discussed in the prior chapter that David wanted to build, but God said, no, you're not the one to do it. So that was probably also a contributing factor into God's reasoning for not doing it then. It's like, well, it's not peaceful enough around you just yet. I'm gonna need like intense focus on making this temple when it's the proper time. I don't want whoever's building it to be distracted by other wars and things like that. And so, David with these victories is helping to establish that ability even for them to carry that out. Note there, meaning of the Hebrew is uncertain when talking about destroying the forces as far as Hamath. It could be that that's like the name of the place, but the meaning is uncertain. Not real sure there, but nothing to really sit here and scratch my head over. So, You got 1,000 chariots, 7,000 charioteers, and 20,000 foot soldiers, all, as part of the defeat of this one king. That, of course, then adds to the stuff that he already had. Alright. On to verse 5. When Arameans from Damascus arrived to help King Hadadezer, David killed 22,000 of them. Then he placed several army garrisons in Damascus, the Aramean capital, and the Arameans became David's subjects and paid him tribute money. So the Lord made David victorious wherever he went. David brought the gold shields of Hadadezer's officers to Jerusalem, along with a large amount of bronze from Hadadezer's town of Tebah and Kun. Later, Solomon melted the bronze and molded it into the great bronze basin called the sea, the pillars, and the various bronze articles used at the temple. See, now we're also getting into how even just these things that were gained from all these victories helped with giving them the supplies that were then needed to build the temple. So, it's not even just the peace that's being established, it's also the resources that are being gathered. Poetically Christian says, David was going to be in constant war. Prophet Nathan told David in 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 10, that the sword would always be against his house. So God probably left the building to Solomon because David was always going to be in the midst of conflict, as we're reading about right here. But yeah, again, I think it's not only that, but it's also, like, it even says directly here that the bronze that they got from, their victory over Hadadezer, who was which king? I don't know. Anyway, a bunch of this stuff that they got that became useful for building the temple later on. And perhaps also there were some alliances established and things of that sort that then also helped with bringing in workers and other supplies that they wouldn't have gotten in battle. So, yeah, it wasn't just a, no, this isn't happening now because I said so, because you've got too much blood on your hands, or anything like that. It's also like, okay, it's not time yet because we don't have all of the resources, and I'm giving you time to establish peace and get some of those resources from the people that you're going to conquer. Anyway, looking at chat here. Absolutely, God always has more going on than we realize. He always has an ultimate plan with all the pieces falling into place. Yeah. And let's see with Pastor G. Good morning. Hope you are doing well today. Appreciate the viewership, even if it's, just lurking. Twitch counts it anyway, so all good with me. Actually, not just Twitch, YouTube. All the platforms count those view stats all the same. So thanks for hopping in. Okay, a couple of notes to look at here. In verse 6, when discussing the army garrisons, as in Greek version and Latin Vulgate, Hebrew lacks several army garrisons. But then what would he be placing in Damascus? Could just say he placed them, or he placed soldiers in Damascus. I don't know. But, he had some representatives or, some forces there to kind of help ensure that tributes were paid and that, they didn't try to whip up any rebellion or anything like that, probably. And then note here at Tiba, Hebrew reads Tibhath, a variant spelling of Tiba. Compare the parallel text to 2 Samuel 8:8. Okay. So that might read Tiba instead of Tibhath, but anyway. So he gets all this bronze that later gets used to build stuff for the temple. They've got these gold shields now, I'm pretty sure it mentioned. Where did I mention that? Yeah, David brought the gold shields of Hadadezer's officers to Jerusalem. Now, it doesn't say yet whether they continue to be used as shields or were later melted for gold for the palace. But still, resources of some kind. Some of that, even if not used for the temple, was then later given as sort of like appeasement to other powerful kingdoms that came through and tried to wipe out Israel/Judah sooner than it was the appointed time for. We'll just put it that way. Anyway, okay, on to verse 9. When King Toi of Hamath heard that David had destroyed the entire army of King Hadadezer of Zobah, he sent his son Joram to congratulate King David for his successful campaign. Hadadezer and Toi had been enemies and were often at war. Joram presented David with many gifts of gold, silver, and bronze. King David dedicated all these gifts to the Lord, along with the silver and gold he had taken from the other nations, from Edom, Moab, Ammon, Philistia, and Amalek. See, okay, I had already kind of mentioned maybe some alliances being established here, but there weren't really any verses in this chapter related to that. Now we have some, because King Toi here was enemies with Hadadezer, so then when David defeated Hadadezer, King Toi is like, hey, thanks, you did me a real solid favor there. Here's a gift. And maybe we can continue being buddies and helping each other out here. So, yeah. Further advancements of both the peacemaking efforts and the resource gathering that has been sort of a big theme. And it's all the more relevant, I guess, reading and discussing all this right after the chapter where it mentioned that God would establish David's dynasty, and that, well, also that, you know, his son would be building the temple, and that there would be great prosperity, and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, we read about God's promise, and then we're immediately the next chapter reading about how he's establishing all of that stuff and making good on it. Note there, King Toi, as in parallel text, 2 Samuel 8:9. Hebrew reads Tou. I don't know how you would pronounce that. Also in 18:10. Note there in verse 10, next to Joram, as in parallel text, 2 Samuel 8:10. Hebrew reads Hadaram, variant spelling, but still the same person, presumably, because, you know, ancient Hebrew, very different language. So, and King David isn't just like, you know, being selfish with all this wealth and all these resources that they're gathering either. Man. Words. Anyway. David isn't, like, being selfish with all these things that they're gathering. He dedicated all those gifts from Joram / King Toi. Dedicated all that to the Lord, along with the silver and gold he had taken from all these other nations. So again, God is at the center. That's who he's dedicating it to. Not to himself. It's all to the Lord. Okay. On to verse 12. Abishai, son of Zeruiah, destroyed 18,000 Edomites in the Valley of Salt. He placed army garrisons in Edom, and all the Edomites became David's subjects. In fact, the Lord made David victorious wherever he went. So David reigned over all Israel and did what was just and right for all his people. Joab, son of Zeruiah, was commander of the army. Jehoshaphat, son of Ahilud, was the royal historian. Zadok, son of Ahitub, and Ahimelech, son of Abiathar, were the priests. Seraiah was the court secretary. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, was captain of the king's royal bodyguard. And David's sons served as the king's chief assistants. And just further establishment of what we've already been discussing. And notes on some of the people who kind of helped make it happen. And not only make it happen, but like kind of keep it organized. Note there at Ahimelech, as in some Hebrew manuscripts, Syriac version, and Latin Vulgate, most Hebrew manuscripts read Abimelech rather than Ahimelech. Pretty close, though. Hebrew says, of the Kerethites and Pelethites, rather than saying the king's bodyguard. But that's the role that the Kerethites and Pelethites had, presumably, was being the king's bodyguard. So, David is militarily successful, and not only that, but it's also setting the stage for, it's talking about, priests, captain of the bodyguard, so like all these important officers and positions around him were being established as well. To further emphasize the point that it's not just David being awesome, it's not just his efforts, his brilliance, his military might, or anything like that. It's all the Lord's doing. That's who he's putting the emphasis on. But he's also getting help from people around him with gathering these resources, organizing them, figuring out what to do with them, and, of course, the, battles that are, building peace around them, building alliances, and, like, all this stuff that's going on. It's a team effort, directed, essentially, by God and emphasizing God's provision. But that's all I got for 1 Chronicles 18. Okay. And that, I suppose, does it for today's Bible study. How many chapters do I have left in 1 Chronicles? Let's see here. It looks like... Okay, so chapter 29 is the last one. We're at 18, so... One of these weeks, either we'll go from 1 Chronicles directly into 2nd, or I might have to do an extra chapter some week. Oh darn, an extra chapter of Bible study. Anyway. But for now, that's all I got. I've been unintentionally speaking rather loudly, feeling it a little bit in my throat. Not that it's too bad right now. But as I move on to the gaming portion of the stream, Maybe that'll give my throat a little bit more of a break. I don't know. I find myself really getting invested in the Bible study stuff sometimes. Not that I'm not interested in the gaming, but I don't really have to explain that as much. Alrighty. So, as I move over to that, I'll go ahead and run the next set of Twitch ads. Maybe take a quick break myself, and then we'll hop into Slay the Spire.
Changing who I am, I'm making a new plan, rearranging my life and I won't look back ever again. You ain't see me activated, you better hope that you never see me agitated. I think about my actions, plan them out, evaluated. That's how I end up on the top, man, I'm calculated. My mind's a weapon, my body is the engine. I'm never second guessing, I just do what I was destined. I feel I got the blessing, persistence and obsession. That's how you keep progressing, I already learned that lesson, yeah. I'm changing who I am, I'm making a new plan, rearranging my life and I won't look back ever again. You can't stop what's moving, you can't stop what's moving. I'm changing my life and I won't look back ever again. No fear, see clear, you deserve to be great. I know it feels like things get in your way. Push through those walls and the others will fall. Sit up, stand tall, you can get through it all. I need some energy, anxiety's no friend to me. I have a short memory, I don't really remember things. That's how I move on, that's how I stay strong. A new day's on, I'll keep moving right along. And I feel like the pain in the past, it needs to stay in the past. You gotta take off the cast, I wanna feel like
Alright. I'm back. Feeling the throat. Just came off a full week of live streaming a bunch of different games. Trying to reach 800 by the 8th. Nice. Oh, happy early birthday, I suppose. Definitely test the voice. Yeah. Just doing live streams like this so often, I imagine, would do a lot. Would use your voice a lot and therefore put some strain on it. Okay. So, I've got Slay the Spire here ready for me to get it started up, but as I am thinking this will be sort of a, recorded and later edited playthrough kind of deal, I'm gonna start it from here so I get the initial, whatever opening credits, if that's the best way to put it. Basically making it look like I'm just starting up the game with the first video that I make of it. Anyway, okay. I will say I should probably ditch this background music because that's not going to accurately reflect the playing experience. I will then hit record here and hop on into the game. What's up, cool people? Welcome to my first playthrough, at least, of Slay the Spire. So, I've heard a little bit about this game, not a ton of, like, you know, any story beats or anything like that that would be contained in it. What should I put as my name? You know what? I feel like I'm just gonna go with random here. Confirm. Okay. Real quick. Okay, just making sure that I get an accurate sense of what I do and don't want here. Fast mode, what does that mean? I assume that would be like the, you know, dialogue going through a bit faster. Like, dialogue scrolling, I guess I should say. I don't know if any of this is a really big deal. So, okay. I'm just gonna hit play. And unsurprisingly, I have things to unlock. Yeah. So I guess I'll be playing on standard. Embark on a quest to slay the spire. And I only have one option. So, I do know this is at least a type of roguelike game. Okay, hang on, real quick. Pausing to respond to chat here. First of all, I respectfully disagree with organized religion being the biggest scourge on the progress and harmony of humanity. Yes, people will argue with each other a lot over religion and what is right and wrong and things like that, and people have done a whole lot of bad things in the name of their religions. I will not deny that. But really, it's more so been the selfish, I would say, twisting thereof that has been the biggest problem. So, more than that, I would almost say selfishness and greed are the biggest scourge on progress and harmony. So, some might say it's the religion itself that is inherently that way. I would argue, no, it's almost across the board, a twisting thereof of the religion that causes all these problems. And, yeah, some people might not want to make progress on things because of what they believe in, because they think their religion disagrees with the science or the advancement efforts or whatever. But, you know, that's also often a twisting of the religion to suit really just personal biases, preferences, and things of that sort. So, there's my thoughts. Feel free to, you know, continue the discussion. I might just have to, you know, delay what I'm doing in the game a little bit to any others watching for such discussions. And note that I may not respond right away because of what I'm doing in the game. Okay, so, the Ironclad. 80 HP, 99 gold. The remaining soldier of the Ironclads sold his soul to harness demonic energies. Burning blood at the end of combat, heal 6 HP. 5 unlocks remaining, 0 out of 300 to next unlock. Okay, well, anyway. I suppose I will embark. Act 1, Exordium. Select starting room. Okay, so that is the legend that... So we got unknown rooms, merchant rooms, treasures, rest areas. Most of the paths seem fairly similar. If I wanted to avoid any elites, it seems like I'd probably be best going off to the right there, but that doesn't mean I have to start at the right. Alright, well, let's just go with the middle. I can branch off from there as I feel like I might need to. Okay. Defeat enemies by playing cards from your hand. Cards require energy to play once you are out and your turn. At the start of your turn, new cards are drawn and your energy is replenished. Play defensive cards to gain block when enemies are about to attack you. Block reduces incoming attack damage but wears off at the start of your next turn. During your turn, you can observe an enemy's intent above them. If an enemy is intent on attacking you, be sure to gain some block. Okay. So this looks quite a bit like, shoot, what was it called? I guess Diceomancer. Definitely seems a bit like that in some ways. So, let's see here. I can bash, deal 8 damage, apply 2 vulnerable. Vulnerable creatures take 50% more damage from attacks. Okay. What I'm thinking I will do to start things off is gain some block for the incoming attacks. And then it seems to me, as long as I can choose targets, I will strike this one twice and get it out of here. And I was out of energy, so not really doing much more anyway. So far, there's not really a whole lot of story to this, it looks like. Okay. I'm not quite sure what's going on with them. This enemy intends to inflict a negative effect on you. But that doesn't tell... blocking... It's not like real obvious that blocking would stop any of that. So I think I'm just gonna do one block and some more attacking. Frail. No more cards? If there are no more cards to draw, your discard pile is shuffled into the draw pile. Okay. So now I'm frail. Gain 25% less block from cards for one turn. Okay, well, that's not a big deal to me. I'll still defend to block a little bit of the damage, because I only have 2 strike cards here. Okay. Seems to me this turn should be the last one. Exhaust. Removed until end of combat. I have no clue what that does. I'm just going to use Bash, and there we go. Victory. And we gain 11 gold, a colorless potion. Choose one of 3 random colorless cards to add to your hand. It costs 0 this turn. And then add a card to your deck. Tip, the merchant doesn't offer refunds. He's a jerk. Okay. Oh, I have to press A to accept the rewards. Okay, gotcha. Drink or throw potions during combat. Potions stay with you between rooms. Okay. And I can add a card to my deck. Anger. 0 cost. Deal 6 damage. Add a copy of this card into your discard pile. Huh. Well, that seems like a pretty good one to have. Alright, Poetically Christian, thanks for hanging out. Hope you have a good day. And, hope you're... I'm like... I guess I want to say hope your sermon and all that goes well tomorrow. Okay, Infernal Blade. Add a random attack card into your hand. It costs 0 this turn. Oh. Okay. So, the attack card that would be added to my hand would cost 0. But then the Infernal Blade gets exhausted. Body Slam. Deal damage equal to your block. If I was going real defensive, that would maybe be a good idea, but... Anger seems to me like the best option. Well, in the evening and the morning. So. Well, hey, if preaching is what you like to do, which it sure seems like it, then yeah, I guess that's a good way to spend your birthday. Happy early birthday once again, Poetically Christian. Alrighty, so we proceed. And there's another enemy room here. Curl up. What does that do? Enemy intends to attack for 6 damage. On receiving attack damage, rolls up and gains 5 block once per combat. And that one does it with 7 block. Interesting. Alright, so... Sure seems like I will end up taking quite a bit of damage this turn if I don't defend. So I'm going to get myself 10 block and then strike. Alright, so I only took 1 damage there. And now I get the sense that that louse's block is gone. Okay, well, I will defend again. I'm gonna use anger on this louse here. And then strike it. And then strike the other one. And I blocked all the damage there. I'd say this is going pretty well. I will bash. And strike. And victory. And now I'm back to full health. Huzzah! Okay. Shrug it off, gain 8 block, draw a card. Pretty nice for 1 cost. Shockwave. Apply 3 weak and vulnerable to all enemies. Could be handy for, you know, group battles. Yeah. Okay. I just noticed my multi-chat wants to show that one comment, even though, you know, Twitch bots block it. Huh. Anyway. Learn something new every day. Oh well. At least it's not, like, super inappropriate. Deal 9 damage or draw a card. Also 1 cost. These seem pretty good. Although, drawing more cards also means I discard them sooner. If I'm, you know, spending all of the energy or whatever quickly. So far, I'm going more on the aggressive side of things. Maybe I'll even it out a little. Okay, so now I can go to an unknown room, which... just to get something different in here might be a decent idea. Or I go over that way, so then I get to... so then maybe I move a little further away from the possible elite enemy. But I probably want to experience that before too long anyway. Just to see what it's like, even. Alright, so... I'm gonna go to this unknown room. What happens? You walk into a room to find a large hole in the ground. As you approach the hole, an enormous serpent creature appears from within. Ho-ho! Hello, hello! What have we got here? Hello, adventurer. I ask a simple question. The most fulfilling of lives is that in which you can buy anything. Do you agree? So, I agree, which gives me 175 gold, but I become cursed with doubt, which... Ah, okay, so doubt, I assume, is a card that gets added to your deck. It cannot be played, and then at the end of your turn, you gain 1 week from it, which means you're more vulnerable. Well, I do not agree that the most fulfilling life is one where you can buy anything, because there's more to life than wealth and stuff. So, even just from a practical standpoint, I disagree. Serpent stares at you with a look of extreme disappointment. Okay, and that was our random event there. You know what? I do think I'm actually going to work towards this path. And yes, there's an elite along there, but I also get a merchant stop before and after, and then a rest after that elite enemy, assuming I make it through. Face Trader. You walk by an eerie statue holding several masks. Something behind you softly whispers, "Stop." You swerve around to face the statue, which is now facing you. On closer inspection, it's not a statue, but a statuesque, gaunt man. Is he even breathing? Face, let me touch. Maybe trade? Touch, lose, is that 8 HP? Yeah, and gain 75 gold. Trade, 50% good face, 50% bad face. I assume those are chances of... Which one of those... Huh. Right before an elite enemy, I don't know if I necessarily want to lose HP. Let me see what trade does. Tip relics. Relics found throughout the Spire grant unique bonuses and remain throughout your run. Can be found by defeating powerful foes or within chests. For me? For me? Oh, yes. Yes, yes. You see one of his arms flicker and your face is in its hand. Your face has been swapped. Nice face. Nice face. Okay. So now what does the... It appears I got the bad face. What does that do? So, can I do anything with that? No? Okay. I guess that's only in battle that I would maybe do anything with that colorless potion. Alright. We arrive at the merchant. Welcome! Oh, what do we got here? So, obviously I can buy stuff, and the gold cost is underneath. Mind Blast. Deal damage equal to the number of cards in your draw pile. I could get another Anger card. Shockwave. Battle Trance. Draw 3 cards. You cannot draw additional cards this turn. Okay. No big deal. I'm not real focused on card draw anyway. Whenever a card is exhausted, gain block 3. Interesting. Card removal service. Blessing of the Forge. Upgrade all cards in your hand for the rest of combat. Upgrading makes it more powerful. Cards can only be upgraded once. Duh. Fire Potion, deal 20 damage. Regen Potion, gain 5 regen. Heals HP at the end of your turn. Each turn regen is reduced by 1. Oh, okay. So that's, I mean, helpful, but not, like, that helpful. If I had a bunch of cards that would be exhausted, this would be really handy, but I don't. So, right now, I'm kind of leaning towards buying this, Blessing of the Forge, and the Fire Potion. Oh, so those are all, I guess, like, in-battle consumables? Upgrade all cards in your hand for the rest of combat. That seems like something really helpful for the next battle I'm about to be in. Okay, proceed. And now we face an elite. Oh, great. Okay. I guess the bad face is what has weakened me. Let me use the Blessing of the Forge, I guess. Oh yeah. Attacks deal 25% less damage for 1 turn. Oh, okay. What's my enemy gonna do here? Enemy intends to use a buff. Okay, but then I guess defending wouldn't do a whole lot, would it? So I might as well strike twice. And then defend, I suppose. Sure, why not? Okay. Ending that turn. Enrage. Oh boy. Weakened wears off. Intends to attack for 14 damage. Whenever you play a skill, gains 2 strength. So is that what the cards are considered to be? Skills or what? I will shrug it off. Oh, yep. So the more cards I play, at least this turn, the more damage it's gonna do to me. Great. Now, applying vulnerability to the enemy seems like a good idea to me. I can also use anger. And for now, I will end my turn. By the way, I hope you all can hear me all right. I looked at the volume stuff, and it seems like that should be fine. Oh, we've got more. Alright. So now he intends to attack for 8 damage, it seems. But also inflict a negative effect. Increase attack damage by... yeah. Receive 50% more damage from attacks for 1 turn. Okay. So... sure seems to me like... continuing to deal more damage is a good idea. Wow. This anger stuff is really piling up. Seems to me like that was a good move. Oh, geez. I guess I would be, what, adding another turn of vulnerability? Or, yeah. Seems like that's what would happen if I use Bash here. Let's do it. Hiya. Oof. Now I'm vulnerable. Holy cow. Intends to attack for 27 damage. That's a lot. I mean, it wouldn't kill me. But that's a lot. I guess if I block a bunch, I could... well, I mean... see, that's the thing. It's also gonna keep gaining more strength as I use those blocks. Well... there we have it. Oh. With him being vulnerable, I probably could have done enough damage to, probably could have done enough damage to end the battle there. Oh well. Anger. And strike. And we're good. Gain some gold. A mummified hand. Whenever you play a power card, a random card in your hand costs 0 that turn. What's a power card? Fear Potion. Apply 3 vulnerable. Interesting. That could be quite helpful. Oh, the mummified hand is like a permanent thing. And it's not... okay. Add a card to your deck. Deal 5 damage to all enemies X times. So you can choose how much to pay for it. I like that idea. Whirlwind it is. Okay. So now I can visit another merchant. Not that that's a big deal. It's dangerous to go alone. Give me all your gold. That's not how that phrase works. Headbutt. Deal 9 damage. Put a card from your discard pile on top of your draw pile. Interesting. Attack potion. I think I'm kind of full on that stuff anyway. Remove a card from your deck. The cost of this service increases by 25 for the rest of this run. I don't have enough for that anyway. Whenever you lose HP from a card, gain 1 strength. Does that include, like, the enemy actions, or... I don't know. True great. Gain 7 block. Exhaust 1 card at random. I don't want to do that. I guess I'll take the one that's on sale just because. Even if I'm not going to use the card that much, it's a pretty good deal. Alright, and now we have a rest. Time for a break. I could rest or smith. Interesting. I don't know what all costs and such would be involved in trying to smith anything. Well, if I rest, then I'm back to full HP, which is good. So I think I might do that. Well, I'm just noticing some of the stuff on this interface is, like, absolutely tiny. Although I could just go straight to another rest. Because I've got treasure next. And then I could do another rest. And then fight a couple of enemies and do another rest. And okay. So let's maybe see what the smithing is all about. Okay. Seems like maybe there is no particular cost involved in any of this. So what do I want to upgrade? I like Anger. Anger plus, deal 8 damage, add a copy of the... Okay, so it deals 2 more damage. That would have me gain 3 more block. Same with that. That would deal more damage and apply more vulnerability. Or add another turn of them being vulnerable. Deal 8 damage to all enemies X times. Jeez. I still think Anger is kind of my favorite card here, so I will confirm that upgrade. Proceed. And now we have treasure. What is it? A paper frog. Spelled P-H-R-O-G. Enemies with vulnerable take 75% more damage rather than 50%. Interesting. So if I take that, okay, then it... So now I have another passive thing going on. Okay. So I think I will... I'll go here and I will rest this time. Proceed. So then I think I'm gonna go unknown I could go 2 enemies, rest, another enemy, another rest. I don't really want to fight another elite right now. Although there is another rest right after it. But I think I would rather see what this other unknown room is. Oh, it's a battle. Okay. And they want to use a buff. Okay. So, since they're not intending to deal any damage to me, I'm just going to focus on dealing damage to them. Whirlwind. How do I choose the cost? Oh, I guess that just uses up however much you have left. Okay. Okay, weakened has worn off. Goody. Ritual. At the end of its turn, it gains 3 strength. Okay. I will use anger. And all I've got now is damage dealing stuff. Okay. What does that do again? Choose 1 of 3 random colorless cards to add to your hand. Especially the fact that it would cost 0, I think. I might want to save that for, like, any final boss that would come up. Okay. Ending my turn. They're down to 18 HP now. Okay, so they're intending to deal 9 damage. If I block twice, then I won't take any actual damage from that. Locked. And they've gained more strength, but now I have enough damage that I can deal to defeat it. Huzzah. Okay, 14 gold and add another card. Okay, so we got Shockwave again. Apply 3 weakened vulnerable to all enemies. Deal 3 damage to a random enemy 3 times. 9 damage total, not bad. 10 damage total from Twin Strike, not bad. Now is that to the same enemy, or to... I'm not quite sure how that one would work, the Twin Strike. But I kind of like it, so let's choose that. Proceed. Okay, also, I'm noticing... Alright, that just shows me my deck. Gotcha. And then if I do this, that's just the settings. Okay. Next battle. Now we got 2 enemies here. So I'm weakened this turn. What does this Spore Cloud do? On death, applies 2 vulnerable. This enemy intends to inflict a negative effect on you and attack for 8 damage. Great. Okay. Well, I will... I think I would like to defend, since my attacks won't deal as much damage this turn. And I will use Bash on the Spike Slime. Because if I get rid of that one first, the other one applying weakness on death wouldn't matter. Okay, I am no longer weakened. Let's see here. That one's going to use a buff. That one is planning to inflict a negative status effect. Alright, I'm going to use Twin Strike. Okay, so it does just hit the same enemy twice. Duly noted. Okay. Well, the slime's gone. And then we'll hit this, and end my turn, I guess. Okay, so now it wants to attack. I use Anger. It's got 14... although if I'm dealing 5 damage to all enemies 3 times, then that would be the end of it, wouldn't it? So... hiya. I am kind of glad I figured out how that works, though. Disarm. Enemy loses 2 strength. Exhaust. Perfected Strike. Deals 6 damage. Deals 2 additional damage for all your cards containing Strike. In my hand or in my deck? Because that's a major difference. Armaments, gain 5 block. Upgrade a card in your hand for the rest of combat. Interesting. Kind of like that idea. So basically, Perfected Strike, though, has the potential to deal, what, like, I'm thinking 14 damage? Maybe even 16? Still, I'm kind of leaning towards the Armaments card. Perfected Strike is situationally quite good, but in other situations, maybe not so much. Armaments. Okay. Another enemy. Or another battle, I should say. Ah, now we got 2 of these guys. Well, I guess I gotta have one of them weaken me at some point. Okay. Anger. And then, okay, I could deal 9 damage to both of them. Sure, why not? Ouch. Don't like taking that damage, but whatever. Okay, so one of them intends to attack me. I'll go ahead and block most of that. I will bash this one and end my turn. Have I played Papers, Please? No, I have not. I've seen 1 or 2 other people play it, so I kind of have an idea of what it is and how it works. But I have not played it myself. Seems like a fun game, at least for a little while, though. Ooh, okay, let me go ahead and play this Armaments card. I will upgrade Twin Strike. Not that I really need to right now. But I'm thinking if I target this guy, then it dies. And being vulnerable doesn't matter if I deal enough damage to get rid of this one. Haha. Ancient Potion. Gain 1 artifact. Negates the next debuff. I'm not sure what... Oh, artifacts, I guess, are the permanent things, huh? And I have too many potions. Oh, artifact negates the next debuff. That's what an artifact does, I guess. Which could be handy if I knew the next debuff was going to be something significant. But it doesn't seem like that big of a deal to me overall, really. I don't know if I want that more than what I already have. Pummel. Deal 2 damage 4 times. Exhaust. I mean, gaining 8 block is nice. Yeah, I think I'll take another Shrug It Off. And skip the potion. Alright, so now I can go to another unknown room or fight another battle. I think I might actually go to the unknown room. Oh, it's a merchant. That worked out kind of nicely, actually. Well, let her lose 3 HP, gain 2... Is that like the energy, I guess? Oh, and it costs 0, okay. Hey, appreciate the follow. Alright, is it I'm still Cage? Or is that supposed to be like Kage, like the end of Hokage from Naruto? Anyway. Hope you're doing well today. I am winning so far. Okay, so it's I'm still Kage, like that. I don't know if it's directly referencing the Naruto Hokage idea, but pronounced like that anyway. This card could be handy if I need some extra energy in a turn, I guess. So I'll take that. Kage is in shadow, but close enough. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I figured there could have been another meaning to it. That was just what came to my mind as far as any kind of reference or anything. Made me sound much cooler than I am with the Hokage thing. I mean, without knowing much about you, I cannot make any conjecture on how cool or not that you are. See, okay, I've got one card that would give me strength if I lose HP from a card, and I've got another card that makes me lose HP. But that's still only one of each. I don't know how much... Like, I don't know how helpful overall that's going to be. Okay, proceed to what I assume is like the big final boss room. Mode shift. Holy cow, it has 240 health. And of course, I start off being weak. Enemy intends to block on its turn. After receiving 30 damage, changes to a defensive mode. Interesting. Well, since it's not going to attack me, then blocking doesn't seem like it would do much. And using Whirlwind would deal more damage than the 3 strikes. So... I suppose Whirlwind it is. Hiya. Oh geez, now it intends to do 32 damage. That's lovely. Okay, so... I could use this colorless potion. I could use the fire potion. Would that immediately change his intent? Because then he would take enough damage to go like defensive mode. I'm curious. So, let me go ahead and use the fire potion. Throw. Oh, wait. Did that... Seemed like that didn't actually deal the 20 damage. Oh, I guess because it was blocking. Duh. After receiving 1 damage, changes to a defensive mode. Okay. So... Literally, only one of the cards in my hand deals any more damage. So I guess I'll use that. Okay, mode shift. See, now his intent is to apply a buff. Of course, now I don't have anything else in my hand that'll deal damage this turn. Or I could use my colorless potion. But, I don't know if I'm going to be doing too much more this turn anyway. This actually seems like a great opportunity for me to use Rupture. In case I get that one other card that has me lose HP. You know, for the sake of gaining more energy. Sharp Hide, what does that do? Whenever you play an attack, take 3 damage. Oh, great. Okay. Sounds lovely. So now it intends to attack me for 9 damage. Hey. I don't know if that's J. Rhombus. I don't know. However you pronounce your name, thanks for the follow on Twitch. Now could be an interesting time to see what I get from the colorless potion. Flash of Steel, deal 3 damage, draw a card. Trip, apply to vulnerable. Secret technique, put a skill from your draw pile into your hand and exhaust. I guess keeping it vulnerable isn't a bad thing. So I'll play that first, since it costs nothing this turn. I will do the Bloodletting just because it'll increase my strength. And give me more energy to do stuff this turn, I guess. Gain 5 block. Then I guess I'll upgrade this strike card. Yeah. I will defend again. And strike again. And then end my turn. Because I have no more cards to play. Okay, so that's whenever I play an attack. But if it's two hits from the same attack, then it's not like I would get hurt twice by that. Tends to attack for 8 damage 2 times. Okay. I feel like Twin Strike is a pretty good play here. Let me use Shrug It Off, because I can. Get some anger in there. Let that kind of start compiling a bit more. And then I will defend, I suppose. Take a little less damage. Okay. It is no longer in its defensive mode. After receiving 40 damage, it changes. Now it wants to attack me 5 times for 4 damage each time, which would be a total of 20 to me. Okay, well, I'll do this. Give myself some more energy this turn. And 2 more strength. Or is it? I guess it's 1 more strength, sorry. My mistake on that. I will Shrug It Off, which allows me to draw another strike card. I will strike. Strike plus. And then what? 7 more damage and it'll shift modes again. Well, there we go. It has shifted modes again. Sure, why not? Because I think it would go to the discard pile anyway. Now it's got the sharp hide. Aha. Trip. Not bad. Armaments. And I will upgrade my strike card here. And then attack with that. And I'll use a block just because that's all I got left, and I'll only take 2 damage from the enemy attack then. Oh, jeez. Huh. Okay. Now, I would think having more strength affects how much damage my attack cards do, right? Ooh. It could be a somewhat risky yet interesting move if I do Bloodletting. So I've got 1 more strength. I'm going to use Anger. But then if I'm dealing 11 damage 5 times, that ends the battle. So, Whirlwind? Oh yeah. Victory! And I got an achievement for defeating the Guardian. Essence of Steel. Gain 4 plated armor. And add a card to my deck. Berserk. Gain 2 vulnerable. At the start of your turn, gain an extra energy, I guess. Power cards. This card applies a power to you when used. Powers are passive abilities that remain for the duration of the combat. Got it. Okay. Or Corruption. Skills cost 0. Whenever you play a skill, exhaust it. Oof. Seems like quite the trade-off there, and I don't know if I like it. Exhaust your hand, deal 7 damage for each card exhausted. Exhaust that. Yeah, the Berserk doesn't seem like a terrible idea. I think I'll take that. Good job beating up the pangolin. Is that really what you call that? I guess, maybe, to some effect. What's in the chest? Ooh, relics. We got a tiny house. Upon pickup, obtain 1 potion, gain 50 gold, raise your max HP by 5, obtain 1 card, upgrade 1 random card. I guess maybe all the effects but the first one happen when I use it? Oh no, it's a relic. It just stays there. Black Star. Elites drop an additional relic when defeated. Oh, so they drop relics. Long term, that could be useful. Fusion Hammer. Gain energy at the start of your turn. You can no longer smith at rest sites. But what if I want to... I don't like that idea. The tiny house seems pretty decent to me. But the Black Star would maybe be better long term, but then I would have to fight more elites to really make good use of it. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with the tiny house. And I got another Rupture card. Okay. 50 gold. Elixir. Exhaust any number of cards in your hand. I guess... Oh, so if you have cards that you don't really like that are in your hand, you can choose to exhaust them. Interesting. Oh, the Rupture card was upgraded. Right. And I can add a card to my deck. Headbutt, deal 9 damage. Put a card from your discard pile on top of your draw pile. Another Shrug It Off. Thunderclap. Deal 4 damage and apply 1 vulnerable to all enemies. Not bad. I think I'll take Thunderclap. Alright, Act 2, the city. Well, I think I will pause there for just a moment before I get rolling with the next section, but yeah, Act 1, success. And those of you who are watching live who are not aware, I'm recording this to then make some later video edits as well. Like, I tend to do kind of let's play type stuff with a lot of games. This one might not function quite that way because it's not so story driven. But in any case, I'll at least have a couple of videos of just playing through it and showing off what it's like. I do intend to keep going today. Probably just through the city here, if I can make it all the way through. But that would be it. Okay, can I get up to... I was trying to double check all my relics and stuff. So, anyway, Twitch is gonna force an ad break soon if I don't run it myself, so I think I'll just go ahead and get that out of the way before I move along. X gets me to the potions, but maybe I can then move over to the relics. Yeah, okay. Burning Blood. Start each combat with 1 week. That was the bad face that I got from the one random encounter thing. Whenever you play a power card, random card in your hand costs 0 that turn. Oh, wasn't that the kind of card that I just got? Was a power card? I think so. So that's handy, I guess. So yeah, that's real nice, having vulnerable enemies take even more damage. And then the tiny house, I don't think it really has any further effect, it just gave me a bunch of stuff when I got it, initially. Okay. That's how much gold I have, those are my consumables, we'll say. Which, I don't know what plated armor does in particular, but oh well. I still have the fear potion. And then where's the thing? This is what shows my deck. So yeah, Rupture got upgraded. So now it's gained 2 strength whenever I lose HP from a card. And that one's the power that I just got, the Berserk there, yeah. Okay. Nice. Seems like I should be set up fairly well for some stuff. But, ad break time on Twitch. And, alright. Yeah, so far I see no particular need to, change any of these settings. Select, cancel, top panel, proceed and turn. Tab left view deck, tab right exhaust pile. Okay. Map, settings. Oh, that's why that button wasn't doing anything, because that's the map, and I was already on the map. Draw pile, discard pile. Up, down, left, right. Duh. Okay. Yeah, I see no need to change any of that stuff. Helpful to know, I guess, that I could view my draw or discard pile at any point, I suppose. Or even my exhaust pile. Oh, hello. I have a text message. Do-do-do. Okay. Okay, sorry. Had Dad asking me about helping with something in roughly an hour. So, I'll definitely have to cut the stream off right after I finish up whatever I do here in this, like, chapter thing. Or in roughly an hour. Whichever comes first, I suppose. Alright, I'm gonna go back to recording. Okay. So, I have made it to Act 2 in Slay the Spire. Which path do I want to take? Let's see here. This one seems very, it seems like the possibilities are rather narrow. If I choose the left path, I mean. If I go middle... Actually, it seems like going to the right kind of gives me the most options. So I think I'm going to do that. Plated armor. Oh, hey. Well, now I can at least see what plated armor does. At the end of this turn, gains 14 block. Receiving unblocked attack damage reduces plated armor by 1. Okay, enemy intends to attack for 6 damage 2 times. Let's see here. I'm already vulnerable. No, sorry, I'm weakened to start things off, not vulnerable. But I could use Berserk, since that costs 0. Now this strike costs 0. But it seems like I'm probably going to end up using up all of my energy from my cards this turn anyway. So let me just start it off with Rupture, because I can. I guess maybe that one was also a power card, wasn't it? Alright, well, defend, and then strike, and strike, and I have no more energy, so I think I will just end the turn here. I don't want to use this stuff real early and end up realizing it would be better off later. Okie day. I still haven't actually dealt any damage to it because of its plated armor. Anger. Get that ball rolling. It wants to attack again and deal 18 damage, yippee. I could use the Fear Potion to make it vulnerable. I didn't think the plated armor would be entirely necessary for myself yet, although, I don't know. Oh. Receiving unblocked attack damage reduces plated armor by 1. Okay, so I just have to deal enough damage in one turn to get through. And then it won't keep gaining armor in future turns. So if that hits even twice, that's enough damage. Well, enough damage to break through the... and then reduce the plated armor by, like, 10, roughly? So I think I'll defend some because I'm vulnerable. Don't want to take as much damage. And then I'll use Whirlwind. Oh, why did that only seem to go down by 2? So it's like each hit, not for the damage that it takes. That's annoying. In fact, I would say that's very annoying. Tends to inflict a negative effect on you and attack. Good grief. Well, shoot. This is not going so well. So, I'm thinking I will bash it to make it more vulnerable, maybe. Yeah. And then Twin Strike to get through and reduce some of that plated armor. We'll shrug it off. Gain 8 block and draw a card. And okay. I mean, that doesn't have any cost to it. Gives me 2 more energy, so then I could block even more. And strike to further reduce plated armor. Hiya. Alright. I've got its health halfway down. This is tough, but not terrible. Oh, why am I not gaining as much block from that? Frail. Oh, that's why. I guess that's a status effect that it applied to me. Okay, so it's currently got 9 of the armor. If I do that... Oh, yeah. There's some damage. Yeah, okay. Alright, that thing's dead. Gain some gold, add a card to my deck. Clothesline Plus. Now, that's interesting that it's coming in already upgraded, it seems. Deal 14 damage, apply 3 weak. That seems like a pretty good one. I guess it's because it's already a plus. Deal damage equal to your block. Yeah, no. I'll take the clothesline. Okay. So... I'm gonna see what kind of unknown event I encounter next, I guess. Partially because I want to get to a shop here soon. You come across an ornate building which appears abandoned. A plaque that has been torn free from a wall is on the floor. It reads, "The Library." Inside you find countless rows of scrolls, manuscripts, and books. You pick one and cozy yourself into a chair for some quiet time. So I can read and choose one of 20 cards to add to my deck, or sleep and heal 28 HP. I mean, that would be more than... That would more than fully recover me. But... do I see what cards I could get? And maybe there's something really good there. I'm kind of curious what cards I might get. So, read. Ethereal. Gain 10 block. If this card is in your hand at the end of turn, it is exhausted. Exhausted cards. Okay. So it's like use it or lose it kind of thing. Gaining 10 block probably isn't too bad though. Jeez, 4 energy cost. Cost 1 less energy for each time you lose HP this combat. Okay. That's not so bad for the cost then. Carnage. Ethereal. Deal 20 damage for a cost of 2. More armaments. Feel no pain. Whenever a card is exhausted, gain 3 block. Eh. I don't have that many cards that exhaust right now. Can only be played if every card in your hand is an attack. Deal 14 damage. Seems rather limited use. Warcry. Draw 1 card. Put a card from your hand onto the top of your draw pile. Exhaust. Twin Strike. Another Clothesline. Cleave. Deal 8 damage to all enemies. Not bad. Headbutt. Perfected Strike. Another Whirlwind. Fiend Fire. Sword Boomerang. Deal 3 damage to a random enemy 3 times. Metallicize. At the end of your turn, gain 3 block. Now that's a power. Oh, and we have the thing that lets us, like, make a card free if powers are used, right? Whenever a card is exhausted, draw a card. Combust. At the end of your turn, lose 1 HP and deal 5 damage to all enemies. Interesting trade-off. Would that count as losing HP from a card? Because if so, that could be a heck of a combo. I'd also gain strength from that, too. Entrench, double your block. Huh. I'm thinking of getting, I'm thinking of getting either Combust or Metallicize. Well, since I'm not real sure about if that combo would work or not, I think I'll go with Metallicize. Story is about a man who journeyed beyond the stars and found himself stuck on a desolate foreign planet. Ingenuity, luck, perseverance, and humor to retain his sanity were his tools to return home. Fascinating. And of course, now I have the chat saying maybe I should have gotten Combust. Sorry, I guess maybe there's a little bit of a delay there. Alright, let's see what I find at the shop, though. Maybe there will be a Combust here. Pummel. Exhaust. There's a sale on the armament card there. Draw 3 cards. You cannot draw additional cards this turn. Feel no pain. Again. Brimstone, I think that's consumable. I don't have any space for consumables. Secret technique. Put a skill from your draw pile into your hand and exhaust. At the cost of 0. Reduce the cost of a random card in your hand to 0. This combats and exhaust. Preserved insect. Enemies in elite combats have 25% less HP. Oh, dang. But is that a consumable, or is that a relic? That sounds more like a relic. Can I... Okay, so that is a relic. Nice. I guess maybe the top row here is relics, the bottom row is consumables. Okay. That makes sense. And you know what? I will take this armament card that's on sale. Okay. Good enough for me. So now I might actually have a... Now I might actually want to encounter elite enemies a little bit more, or at least not try so hard to avoid them. Okay, well, next battle. Jeez, 99 HP. They intend to attack me for 10. I have a chance to fight 3 elites. That's 3 relics. Fair enough, yeah. Alright, I will definitely defend. Oh, I totally... maybe should have done the armaments first. And I can only upgrade one of these two. I could have upgraded the block before potentially using it, but oh well. Do I want to use Rupture now? You know what, since we're right at the start, that seems like the most beneficial time to use something like Rupture. So there we go. And I will end my turn. Blocked all that damage. Ooh, Berserk. Okay. Sure. I'll gain some extra energy. Strategic. This enemy intends to inflict a powerful negative effect on you. How powerful are we talking? Alright, well, definitely want to use Anger. And then... oh, Defend doesn't cost anything? Interesting. Oh, I guess because I used the Berserk thing, that was the one that it reduced to 0 cost. So, defend, even though it's not really going to do much for me this turn. Shrug it off because I draw a card from it. Jeez. If only my block didn't go away like every turn. Would have been a great turn to have more attack stuff, but oh well. Alright, I will strike. And then end my turn with that. Alright, so what did it apply to me? Hex. Whenever you play a non-attack card, shuffle 1 dazed into your draw pile. Huh. This enemy doesn't seem to be attacking too much. I think I'm going to make it vulnerable. Well, as long as I keep playing attack cards, I don't have to worry about getting any dazed stuff in my draw pile. And then I could just use Whirlwind to end my turn, I guess. Look at that. Already down to half health. Oh, and now I'm weakened. Lovely. But I'm not vulnerable, at least. Okay, the Hex still applies for 1 more turn. Not great, but okay. I see. But then if I do this, I get a dazed into my draw pile, but I also gain power, so... Okay, Thunderclap. Strike. Strike. And they are intending to attack, so I guess I will defend just to take a little less damage. And end it at that for now. Took a little damage there, not great. Oh, the Hex seems to still say... Oh, it's Hex 1 as in I shuffle 1 dazed into my draw pile whenever... Okay. Well, Metallicize is nice. Twin Strike. Oh, and victory. Okay, cool. Still lost a little HP overall, but not too much. Inflame. That's a power. I like powers. Gain 2 strength. Or I have that, deal 10 damage and draw 2 cards. I think I'll take Inflame. Okay. Next enemy. Oh, look at that. Right off the bat. Inflame. And I gained 2 power, right? 2 strength, I guess. Whatever. Close enough. Now the strike is free. So we got a Mystic and a Centurion. Centurion intends to block. The Mystic is gonna do what? It intends to use a buff. Okay. I'm kind of inclined to get rid of the Mystic first. It's usually enemies like that that end up being more annoying at the end of the day. I don't really care too much about gaining more energy this turn, and I wouldn't gain any strength from it. So I don't think I'm going to do Bloodletting this turn. Oh, and that's a skill, not a power. So, yeah. Okay. Shrug it off. Oh. Berserk? Sure. Especially since I know I won't get attacked next turn. And then defend. And I'm not using Bloodletting right now because I have nothing else to do with that extra energy. Oh, interesting. The Centurion put a block on the mage. So it seems. Interesting. What now, what now? Apply 6 damage... Sorry, deal 6 damage and apply 1 vulnerable to all enemies. That seems like a decent idea. Hiya. He's protecting his wife. Fair enough. I guess I could defend. Just to not take quite as much damage. But also, yeah, and that's the thing, Whirlwind hitting 3 times, that's 30 damage to each of them, plus they're vulnerable, which means it would deal not 30 damage, but like, what's another 75%? It would deal like over 50 damage, I think, to both of them. So you know what? Whirlwind. Kaboom. Okay. You know what? So what if I take a little extra damage then? Okay. Totally worth it. Oh, good grief. I have hardly any attack stuff in here. Now what happens when I play a power again? Right. Random card in your hand costs 0. So, sure, I'll use Metallicize. And that made Shrug It Off cost 0. Okay, so now I got another strike. Oh, but they're not weak anymore. She would have... Oh. So I'm hearing now the Mystic would have healed the Centurion guy. Okay, I'm going to do Armaments, upgrade one of my strike cards. Use that to attack with first, and then do the other one, and the Mystic is gone. Okay. And because I metallicized, I only take 2 damage there. Huzzah! Well, Rupture doesn't do as much good now. Although it is a power, which could make something else free. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to end this turn anyway. Bash. And strike. Yeah. Okay. 18 gold, and Fire Breathing is a power. Whenever you draw a status or curse card, deal 6 damage to all enemies. Huh. Interesting. Oh, Juggernaut is also a power. Costs 2. Whenever you gain block, deal 5 damage to a random enemy. Oh, dang. That... Oof. Combo with Metallicize and Juggernaut. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking of. Never mind all the other cards where, you know, I have, like, Shrug It Off and Armament, or whatever that's called. Yeah. Makes up for not having Combustion. Alright. Juggernaut it is. Okay. Now, I could try to face an Elite here. But, oof. Or I rest. And then really the only Elite option that I have comes later down the line. Trouble is, if I fight that Elite and end up real low on health, as long as it isn't the... I mean, but it will have 25% less HP at the start. Alright, let's see. Painful Stabs. Intends to attack for 6 damage 2 times. Whenever you receive attack damage from this enemy, add a wound into your discard pile. Great. And of course I'm weak to start things off, so I'll focus on gaining some block. And then just hit it once. And that'll be this turn. Although, you know what? Maybe this would be a good time to use my plated armor. Or the Essence of Steel, I mean. Apply 3 vulnerable. maybe that'll come into play next turn. For now, I think I'll use the Essence of Steel, because I'm not actually going to end up taking any damage if I do that, I think, right? Or maybe not. Okay, yeah, I will. Oh, so now it's going to attack 3 times. Yippee! That applies vulnerable. Or I could use the potion to make it vulnerable, and then pretty much just use Whirlwind. Yeah. That's already 18. It seems like it's just gonna keep adding stuff. So, alright, you know what? Fine. Fear Potion. And... ugh. So, just checking. If I gained 8 block, I'd have a total of 12. I'd still take 6 at the end of the turn, and my plated armor does nothing but multi-stab and heavy stab. No blocks, no buffs, nothing. Okay. Alright, you know what? Whirlwind. So there's, I guess a total of 42 damage to it. And now my plated armor is, all the way down to 1. Oh. Weak. Applying 3 weak means it deals less damage. So there's that. And of course, if I start off by gaining 2 strength, something in my hand will be free this turn. So let's go with Inflame, I guess. Okay, which made Shrug It Off free. Oh, and then Juggernaut. But the Clothesline. But the Juggernaut. Dang it. Oh, yeah, that's right. Juggernaut is a power. So that would make something else free. Fine. Juggernaut it is. And it made the Clothesline free! Hooray! I get both. Happy me. Okay. That... I'd say I'm satisfied with how that turn went. Now, would I be able to finish it this turn? I'm thinking probably. That deals 17 damage. Berserk is free. I could use that, and that'll make something else free. Okay, so the strike is now free. Okay, tell you what. I will hit it with strike first. That does 14. So, yeah. I think I'm in the clear. But, just to get a little more damage out of it. Oh, yeah. And then, of course, gaining the armor also did damage. And okay. So, actually, on the whole, granted, I used a couple of consumables there. But on the whole, I only lost 14 HP? 27 gold, incense burner. Every 6 turns gain 1 intangible, which reduces all damage taken and HP lost to 1. Smoke bomb. Escape from a non-boss combat. Receive no rewards. Okay. Alrighty. And then I add a card to my deck. Skill, attack, attack. Deal 11 damage to all enemies. Not bad for 1 cost. Add a random attack into your hand. It costs 0 this turn. Exhaust. I don't really like exhausting cards all that much. I think I'll go with Cleave. Both of the next elites are multi-enemies. Now, I could fight a regular enemy and then have some choices. Or see what this unknown is. Maybe it'll heal me. Like the library gave me a chance to do. But then I'd have to fight another elite. And then after I cleared that elite, I mean, I do have that smoke bomb. You know what? Alright. Let's see what happens. As you continue your ascent, thick black smoke begins to billow out of the ground and walls around you. Out of the ground and walls, I think is how that... Anyway, coalescing into 3 masked forms that start to speak. Another puppet of Niao, I think. Agreed. She always makes the funnest toys. You notice an oversized grin as the third addresses you. Ignore the others. Would you like a taste of our power? I'm sorry, lose how much max HP? I think that would kill me. Now, Apparition is ethereal and gives me 1 intangible. But, again, if I'm reading that max HP change correctly, that would kill me. I don't want to do that. So I refuse. Doesn't take away from your current health, just max health. But yeah, like, ugh. How disappointing. He will join us sooner or later. Oh, that was other ha-has. Oh well. Shapes fade away, leaving only the unnerving laughter ringing in your ears. Oh, great. Another elite. Alright, well. Alright. So it's a multi-enemy thing, but... So they're each down 25% health. And I'm weak to start things off. So I think I will metallicize, because that's a power and makes something free. So then I get free block. I don't know if clothesline is the right play for this turn, since I'm weaker and whatnot. Why is... Oh yeah, every 6 turns gain 1 intangible. Shoot, if I could just survive to the 6th turn. Alright. I'm still going to take some damage from all this. And I've been wounded. Great. Bloodletting. Ugh. Heck no. Alright, I got two of them looking to attack and apply status effects. And then this one is looking to apply a major negative status effect. Great. Red one's gonna make me unable to... Meaning the middle one? Because the one in the back is also kind of red. I'm just making sure I understand which one you mean. I mean, the middle one looks more red to me. The back one. Okay. So, anger, because that's free. Bloodletting doesn't help me a ton in the moment. Shrug it off. Do another strike. Unfortunately, I cannot get rid of any of them just yet. I gain 5 more block, which means I'm only going to take like 1 damage this turn, but still. Oh, jeez. Okay, so, what do I actually officially have on me? At the end of your turn, gain 3 block. You cannot play attacks this turn. Really? And literally everything I got was an attack. Literally everything I got this turn was an attack. Yeah, I'm gonna have to smoke bomb my way out of here. Because I'm not gonna beat this. Well, that's a shame. Okay. What do I get from the treasure here? A shuriken. Every time you play 3 attacks in a single turn, gain 1 strength. I mean, that's nice. I'm still really close to dying here. I think after this battle, I'm going to have to go to the unknown space and then seek the rest. Because, oof. This is not great. Why does there have to be 3 enemies? Right now they're all looking to apply buffs. Oh, Cleaver. Deal 8 damage to all enemies. Or sorry, Cleave plus. Tell you what. But the 8 block wouldn't really do much for me. Alright. Cleave plus. They all take 8 damage. And then I have no clue which one's gonna try to do what. For now, I think I'm just gonna focus on the one with the lowest health. And I played 3 attack cards in a turn, so I gain 1 power. Or strength. Whatever. Ritual. Right. They've all done the ritual. Which means at the end of this turn, it gains 3 strength. And now they all intend to attack. Okay. Well, I will gain 2 strength, I think. And that made the armaments free. So I think I will upgrade Thunderclap. So now they'll all take damage and be vulnerable. And then, well, let's see here. They're about to deal a total of 18 damage to me. if I add this much block, I'll only take 5 to health. Or I could do Twin Strike, which, with them being vulnerable, would probably get rid of one of them. 8 damage, another 75% of that would be... So it's basically 14 per hit on that, which could get rid of the middle one. So I think I'm going to go with that. Huzzah. Okay, and they have now gained strength. If you lose HP from a card. Oh, right, and that's a power, which could make something else free. So, okay. I'll play that. That made my strike free. Oh, I got intangible? Oh, so maybe that's just... Oh, so that's every 6 turns no matter the battle. That carries over between battles. Interesting. And much more helpful. Okay. So, oh, they're only planning to deal 1 damage? But I guess with the strength, that's probably going to be more. Still. I attack. Too bad I didn't have another attack, so I could gain 1 more strength. Oh well. Oh, it's only going to deal 1 damage because of intangible. Duh. They are not vulnerable anymore. Oh, geez. So many powers. That one makes me vulnerable, though. But it could make something else free, dang it. Ah. But hold up. 11... that would be just shy of enough to... Yeah, I would get rid of the 1. Take 12 damage next turn. Okay. I mean, I suppose I could then use Berserk and see what else, but 12 trouble is if I make myself vulnerable. I suppose that wouldn't quite kill me though. And if it makes the strike free, okay, yeah, that made the strike free, which means, boom, I win. Haha! Okay. Iron Wave. Gain 5 block, deal 5 damage. Okay. Not bad. Especially because that could combo off a Juggernaut. Or I have another cleave. I kind of want to take the Iron Wave just because it's different. Okay, but I tire of these battles on such low health. Oh, hey, a merchant. What have ye for me? Okay. Clash is on sale. I might want that. Deep breath. Shuffle your discard pile into your draw pile and draw 1 card. I mean, that's helpful, but, like, not that helpful? Yeah, the only reason the only situation where Clash is any kind of good is when you have all other attack cards in your hand, and it's only because it costs 0. Turn your next attack is played twice. Oh, man. That could have some crazy possibilities. Like, if I had double tap and then Whirlwind? Or I get another Inflame. Oh, I can't buy double tap. Dang it. Ah. I wouldn't mind having another Inflame. Because it's power. I gain 2 strength. Would make something else free. Okay. I'll leave it at that. But now for the important part. I can rest. Okay. Honestly, I might not even have to face another enemy before the main final boss thing. Or I could face 2 more enemies, see what happens. I don't think I'd be able to get much from the merchant. But I don't know if I'd get much. I don't think I'd benefit much from the other enemies either. Alrighty. Vampires? Navigating an unlit street, you come across several hooded figures in the midst of some dark ritual. As you approach, they turn to you in eerie unison. The tallest among them bears fanged teeth and extends a long, pale hand towards you. Join us, brother, and feel the warmth of the spire. Except remove all strikes, receive 5 bites, lose 25, or is that 25? I don't know, it's kind of hard to... 26 max HP. I don't know how I feel about that, especially the max HP loss. I'm gonna refuse. You step back and raise your weapon in defiance. The tall figure sighs. Very well. The entire group of hooded figures morph into a thick black fog that flows away from you. You are alone once more. Okay, I doubt I'll be able to get anything from this merchant, but just in case, let's have a look. I could buy a perfected strike. 2 additional damage for all cards containing strike. Now, what I'm not sure of is whether that means all the cards in your hand or in your deck. But seeing as that's the only thing I could buy, I feel like I might as well give it a try. Okay, so then I leave. Still, Kage says it's all the cards in your deck, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 others. So on the whole, it would basically deal what? If it counts itself, then that's 6, so that deals an additional 12 damage? Okay. Oh. 14, because Twin Strike counts. So on the whole, it deals 20 damage. That's alright. Okay. I shall rest again. I will not quite be at full HP, but heck of a lot closer. Proceed. Alright. Boss time. And I'm being told his name is Theodore. Alright, he intends to hit for 16 damage. And everything I have is attack related. Great. But at least I can make some of it free. Rupture. Okay, well that just made Inflame free. Which, okay, fine. And that made Cleave free. But I think I'd rather do Bash first and then Cleave to take advantage of the vulnerability. And I gained a power from using multiple attack cards, I think. Wait, sorry. Increases attack damage by 2. How did I gain 2 strength there? I don't know. But hey, sure. Alrighty. Cleave. Because it's free. You know a boss is crazy when they have time to talk to you during the fight. And ouch. 16 damage to me. Yippee. When you lose HP from a card, gain 2 strength. Okay. What's he intending to do? Intends to block and use a buff. Which means I'm in the clear for this turn and not taking damage from anything he does. Used anger there. Now hang on. It says 3 attacks. Did I play 2 attack? No, the one wasn't an attack. So I may actually... Do I deal more damage now with Whirlwind? Or do I use a strike and... Yeah, I'm thinking I use strike first. And then use Whirlwind, because that'll be my third... Oh, it keeps track of the number right there next to the Shuriken. Okay, so yeah. When I play Whirlwind here, then I'll gain 1 strength. So here we go. And that did 84 damage right there. Alright, this isn't going too poorly. So far. Alright, his vulnerability has worn off. Ooh, Juggernaut. Yeah, I'ma do it. And that made the clothesline free. Sweet! The only other question is, do I want to play armaments first? Oh, wait, no, it's already upgraded. Never mind. Okay, so, clothesline. Hiya. He has been weakened. Armaments is still better overall than defend, so I will use the armaments card. And I guess I will upgrade the strike. Can't use it right now. Or maybe I should have upgraded block, because then it's like, well, I gain even more block while also still dealing some damage to him. Okay. More strength, heck yes. So that made Perfected Strike free, which means that's going to deal 27 damage. Okay, Frail, I gain less block. Also vulnerable, yikes. But still, Perfected Strike is free. Definitely using that. Although, hang on. Alright. I'm going to play Metallicize first. Okay, that made Shrug It Off free. The main thing I was thinking was I would play Armaments to upgrade the Perfected Strike. But let me see what I get from Shrug It Off right now. Berserk. Okay, I'm already vulnerable, so that just means I would have it for more turns. And now Armaments is free. Not that that really mattered. Perfected Strike. Bam. Okay. And I'll end my turn. Have a free shot, Feudal Weakling. Oh, really? Oh, geez. I have so many effects on me. Uh-oh. Yeah. So, I mean, Rupture's a good one. I have 7 strength. I have the Juggernaut effect. So I'm vulnerable for 5 turns. Metallicize, okay. Berserk gives me more energy. Frail means I gain less block. But I have Intangible right now. Does that only apply to this turn, or is that just whenever the next damage is dealt to me? I would hope the latter. Okay, well, I'm going to use Twin Strike. Might die next turn. Why would I die next turn? He's planning to use a buff. I think. Yeah. Alright, Since adding block also deals damage to him, I'm gonna defend a bunch. I mean, Strike would deal a little more damage, but gaining block and dealing 5 damage is a pretty sweet deal if you ask me. Okay, so he added some strength. So he's got 2 strength. Planning to apply another buff. Okay, I could make him vulnerable. Sure. And then I could play Iron Wave, which deals its own damage, but then will also... Oh, yeah. And then if I play a Strike, that'll be my 3rd attack card this turn. I gain 1 more strength. Yeah, so I still have, I still have 4 more turns of vulnerability. And this is my last turn being weakened. I will gain 8 block and draw a card. Because I can. Okay, neither of those are playable. End my turn. Defeat? Impossible! Face my wrath! 27 times 2, okay. Do I have the thing where if I lose HP from a card, I gain 2 strength? Yeah, I have that. Oh, jeez. But that's a skill, not a power. Still, more strength. Anger's already... That's already an Anger plus. I will... Let's see here. Shrug it off. Okay, I added another strike. Not quite what I was hoping for, but I guess that's fine. I won't use up all my energy for the turn, but at least I'll have 3 attack cards within the turn, so I'll gain more strength. Okay. This is gonna hurt, though. Oof. I'm down to 12 HP. That's not good for me. Intends to block and use a buff. Okay. Oh, jeez. 38 damage. That deals 16 damage twice. It seems like the best cards to use this turn would be the Perfected Strike, the Cleave, and the Twin Strike. That deals 33 damage. That's 22. And that should be 32, which means I win. Whew. Okay. So I gain 99 gold. Skill Potion. Choose one of 3 random skill cards to add to your hand. It costs 0 this turn. And I add a card to my deck. Feed. Deal 10 damage. If fatal, raise your max HP by 3. Whew. I'm not the biggest fan of cards that exhaust, but that... Although the odds of it lining up are kind of low. And yes, I do see why it was suggested I have full health for that. Good golly. Deal 4 damage to all enemies. Heal HP equal to unblocked damage. That's a nice mid-run healing mechanism. Or just straight up deal 32 damage. I'm kind of inclined to go with Reaper. Although it's only 4 damage to all enemies. But the healing part. Yeah. Going with my gut and taking Reaper. Okay. And I proceed. Oh yes, what awards... Or what rewards, I should say, await me here. Choose a relic. Slaver's Collar. During boss and elite combats, gain an energy at the start of your turn. Helpful. Astrolabe. Upon pickup, transform 3 cards, then upgrade them. Transformed cards become a random card of any rarity. Upgrading cards makes them more powerful. Duh. Sacred Bark. Double the effectiveness of potions. So far, I don't know if I'd say the potions have been that great. I mean, yeah, they've helped, but... Astrolabe, yeah. Transform 3 cards, then upgrade them. Yeah. Okay. We'll go with the Astrolabe. Now the problem is, if I transform 3 of the strike cards, that then inherently could make Perfected Strike less effective. That's my only possible qualm with just going all out on the strike cards. So tell you what, I'll start off with one strike. One defend. And then I don't know if there's too much else that I'm inclined to change here. So yeah. I'll pick another strike just because there's more of them. Okay. So I enter Act 3, The Beyond. Okay, now what did I just add to my deck there? What's new? Okay. Hemokinesis. Lose 2 HP, deal 20 damage. Okay, I mean, that combos off of the Rupture. Alright, also gain 2 strength. I got a True Grit plus, which isn't great in my opinion, but okay, whatever. Corruption plus, skills cost 0 whenever you play a skill exhausted. Now that only applies to skills, not attacks or powers. But basically everything else is a skill. Okay. But, anyway, that's what I got from my 3 card transformations. Hemokinesis generally seems like more good than bad to me. The other ones are a little bit of a trade-off. But okay. Well, that was the city. And I will leave it off at that for now. Both for that recording and for the stream as a whole. My family may or may not still want my help. Save and quit. Yes. Great job not dying. Thanks for the suggestions, although some of them, like, some of the room suggestions, I maybe could have made some safer choices. Especially that one moment where I wound up trying to fight an elite battle that I had to abandon. But oh well. I won't let you die, but I will make you go through chaos. I'd say that was a bit chaotic, to say the least. Anyway. Okay. Well, that's going to wrap things up for me today. I hope you all enjoyed the stream. Just going to, real quick, try and find someone to raid over on Twitch here. Let's see who all is doing what. Okay, well. Raid target spotted. I guess I'll go ahead and get that rolling. So anyway, hope you're all doing well. Hopefully you all have a good week. I'll be back next week for another live stream. I will not be playing Slay the Spire next week, though. Next week I'm going to start Kingdom Hearts 3. Been playing through that series. I'll be revisiting Kingdom Hearts 3, but on Proud Mode and now with more story knowledge. So, feel free to come back for that, if you're so inclined. Check out some YouTube videos and stuff in between live streams. And, yeah. That's all I got. So until the next time I see you, stay cool, everybody.